Hey there, folks. My name is Catherine Stewart. I am the owner and the operator of Pegasus Title Insurance Services, and I would like to speak to you about title insurance, what title insurance is, and why, as a buyer of real property, or anytime that you are acquiring an interest in real property, why not getting a title insurance policy could be one of the costliest mistakes that you ever make. Now, what is title insurance? Title insurance is an insurance policy, but it's a non-casualty product. When you think of an insurance policy, normally you think of something like auto insurance or health insurance or homeowners insurance, and those are casualty products to the extent that they're insuring you over some sort of future loss, okay, something that's going to happen to you in the future. Because when you get a health insurance policy or you get an automobile insurance policy, you're not sick right at that moment. Your car isn't broken at that moment. You're getting these policies in case that happens, all right? So that if you do get sick, if your car breaks down, you get into an accident, your insurance policy covers you. They'll pay out, for doctor's bills or whatnot. Now, how title insurance is different is title insurance will insure you, the insured, usually the buyer, the person who's acquiring title to the real property, they insure you over a future loss based off of something that is occurring at the time that the policy was written. And of course, the time that the policy is written is the time that the closing happens, or the date that you acquire the real property. So it insures you over some kind of a future loss based off of some sort of a defect in title that was existing as of the date of the policy that's not disclosed in the title insurance policy, okay? So how does this work? Me as a title agent, what I do is my specialty is to transfer real property. But of course, 98% of the time when I'm transferring real property, of course, that's in the course of a purchase and sale transaction. So you have a seller selling the property to the buyer. And most of the times, the buyer doesn't know the seller. They're not friends, they're not relatives. And as a result of that, the buyer has no idea what the seller's been doing on the property. They don't know if they've been paying their bills or their mortgage. Is there a mortgage? Have they been paying their property taxes? Do they have like a farm out back that's going to have like code enforcement violations? You have no idea. So the tricky thing about it is, and I don't think people realize this, at the moment that the buyer acquires title to the real property, whatever problems that existed with the property become the buyer's problem, okay, at that moment. So if there's unpaid property taxes, if there's a lien on the property and the buyer doesn't know about it, okay, and they acquire, the deed's recorded, it's your property, guess what? Now it's your problem. It's not the seller's problem anymore. Because of that, you get title insurance. So how do you issue title insurance? Title insurance protects you, and it searches all of these items to make sure that when I do the closing, when I transfer the real property from the seller to the buyer, I'm saying that I am going to write an insurance policy in favor of the buyer, and I am ensuring to the buyer that they are receiving the property free and clear of any kinds of claims, liens, and inherent deficiencies in title. I am ensuring to you that you are getting the property free and clean of any of these issues. All right, so how do I do that? What I do is I order a title search report, and then I order a municipal lien search report. The title search report I order from my underwriter, and on it they do a search of the public records. Okay, they search everything specific to that property, and it's that title search that shows if there's any mortgages on the property that need to be satisfied, any liens, or if there's any unpaid property taxes, if there's any other issues. For example, let's say 3 deeds back, the property was owned by 2 people, but only one of them conveyed out to the next owner, okay? If there's some kind of an issue like that, I would have to go back and try to find that person that didn't sign the deed, 15 years ago, and make sure that they extinguished their rights so they could never come back and say, listen, I didn't agree to sell the property. I actually am still an owner of the property, okay? There's a lot of interesting things that can come up in the course of real estate. So, and then I've seen a lot of very strange things happen. That's not the least of them. So I look at the title search report, I see everything, you know, any kinds of defects or things that need to be addressed, and I go step by step and I clear them, all right? The other thing that I get is the municipal lien search. And the reason that I get that is, the funny thing about utilities, like if with your Comcast account, with your Xfinity account, Bell South, whatever it is, if you don't pay those bills, those people, those like Xfinity or whoever, they, FPL even, they can't come and record a lien against your property. The only thing they can do is they can record a judgment against you personally in the public records, and they can mess up your credit score, okay? But it's not a real title issue, all right? However, with municipalities are the ones who normally provide water, sewer, and trash. And per statute, municipalities, if you don't pay those utilities, the municipalities have the right to record a lien against your property. So the reason you get a municipal lien search report is you can see if there's unpaid utility balances, because even if a lien isn't recorded now, if there's unpaid utility balances, it's foreseeable that a lien will be recorded at some time in the future. So if you see those unpaid utility balances, of course I would collect those and pay those off at closing, collect them from the seller, pay them off at closing, so that way the buyer starts fresh. Once I'm able to review all of those reports and records and things like that, and I can ensure that there is nothing wrong with the property from the information that has been provided to me, at that point I write the insurance policy saying, listen buyer, here's your insurance policy. I am insuring to you, there's nothing wrong with the policy, and I am guaranteeing to you and indemnifying you, not guaranteeing, I'm indemnifying you from any loss or damage that could occur to you in the future as a result of some sort of a defect that we did not find, okay? So, the best way that I can describe a kind of claim that could come up, because I have seen claims like this come up. Let's say the buyer acquires title, you have the closing, all of a sudden 6 months go by, and the buyer receives a notice in the mail from the city of West Palm Beach, because they live in the city of West Palm Beach, and the city of West Palm Beach is like, hey, well, you guys haven't paid your special assessment, so we're going to record a lien against the property. And you're like, what the heck are you talking about? I don't know what this is. What special assessment are you talking about? And you're looking at it, and it's a special assessment for $70,000. And you'd be surprised how frequently this actually does happen, because in the course of development, as each different stages of the West Palm Beach get developed, you know, like from 10 years ago, 5 years ago, depending on where you are within the municipality or the county or whatnot, you know, as you're developing those sections and they're putting in sewage lines or pipelines, or they're doing, you know, roads or this or that, you know, it's those owners, existing owners of those developed areas, that foot the bill for that. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. So it's very frequent that there are special assessments out there against property in the line of $70,000 that people, you know, they pay over the years, you know, and either that gets paid off when somebody new acquires title, or the buyer agrees to assume those, all right? But anyways, in this instance, you get this notice from the city of West Palm Beach, and you're like, holy crap, how is this possible? What do? You find your owner's title insurance policy, you whip it out, and you look at it, and you say, you're like, no, there's no line item on here where I'm assuming some kind of a $70,000 special assessment lien. There is nothing on this title insurance policy about a special assessment lien. You call up your title insurance underwriter, whether it's Old Republic, First American, Westcor, whoever it may be, and you file a claim. And at that point, because it's not on your title insurance policy, your title insurance underwriter will now indemnify you from any loss, and they will also defend you from that loss in the event there's any kind of a court or litigation that may ensue. So at that point, hey, that $70,000 is not your problem. It's the title underwriter's problem, okay? Which is why it's so important to get a title insurance policy, because otherwise you could be stuck on the hook for unpaid property taxes. I mean, the list goes on and on. The risks that title insurance policies will indemnify you against, I mean, it just goes on. And especially with the real estate market today and all the fraud and just anything, I cannot stress enough why it is essential that, you know, a buyer gets a title insurance policy, whether the seller pays for it or the buyer pays for it. Get a title insurance policy, because if you don't, it could be one of the costliest mistakes you could ever make. I hope this video was informative, and hopefully I can figure out another fun, useful topic to share with everyone shortly. But until then, I hope everyone has a terrific day, and thanks for watching. Bye.